Most people assume Victor Hugo's Les Misérables is a story about the French Revolution of 1789, but the narrative actually begins in 1815, during the Bourbon Restoration. The Bourbon Restoration refers to the period in French history from 1814 to 1830, when the monarchy was restored to the throne following the fall of Napoleon. Hugo wasn't interested in the glory of the past. He wanted to expose the systemic rot and extreme poverty festering beneath this newly restored crown. To understand the soul of 19th century France, he forces us to look away from the kings and politicians and down into the gutters. Jean Valjean entered this world as a victim of a system that offered no proportion between crime and punishment. He served 19 years of hard labor for stealing a single loaf of bread to feed his sister's starving children. Even after his release, the law refused to let him go. He was issued a yellow passport, a document that permanently branded him a dangerous ex-convict, ensuring no one would ever give him an honest job or a second chance. Rebuffed by every inn and tavern, Valjean finally found shelter with Bishop Myriel. But decades of chains had hardened him. In the middle of the night, Valjean stole the bishop's silver and vanished into the darkness. When the police caught him, the bishop did something the law deemed impossible. He lied. He told the officers the silver was a gift, then pressed 2 silver candlesticks into Valjean's hands, claiming he had forgotten to take them. The bishop told Valjean he was buying his soul for God. It's an act of radical grace that poses the question driving the next 5 volumes. Can mercy rebuild a human being that the law has completely destroyed? Valjean broke his parole and reinvented himself as a wealthy mayor, proving that the bishop's gamble could rehabilitate a man where the penal system had failed. Hugo argued France's misery stems from 3 problems: the degradation of men through poverty, the ruin of women through starvation, and the atrophy of children through darkness. Valjean represents the first, Fantine, driven to prostitution, the second. The third is her daughter Cosette, whom Valjean rescues. But Valjean's acts of compassion are constantly hunted by Inspector Javert. Javert is the physical, unyielding embodiment of the state, a man who believes the law is the only moral authority that exists. While Valjean tries to save individual souls, the broader machine of poverty continues to grind down the masses. By 1832, that pressure reached its limit. The setting shifts to the smoke-filled streets of 19th century Paris, where the mounting societal tension finally reaches its inevitable breaking point. A group known as the Friends of the ABC prepares for insurrection. The name is a pun. In French, the letters ABC are pronounced like the word for the abased, the people at the very bottom of society. These students and workers build a barricade out of furniture and cobblestones, the ultimate physical manifestation of the war between the state and the oppressed. The barricade serves as a crucible. Here, the rigid law of the state and the desperate plea for human grace are forced into a final violent clash. Amid the chaos of the uprising, Valjean finally has his lifelong tormentor, Inspector Javert, at his mercy. Valjean doesn't take his revenge. Instead, he spares Javert's life and lets him walk away. It is an act of radical grace that mirrors the mercy the bishop showed him decades ago. This breaks Javert. His worldview is a black and white grid where a criminal can never be righteous. When he realizes the law he serves is immoral compared to the man he is hunting, his world collapses. Unable to exist in a world that isn't ruled by the letter of the law, Javert takes his own life in the River Seine. His death is a symbolic warning. When justice is entirely stripped of humanity and compassion, it ultimately destroys itself. As the rebellion is crushed, Valjean carries a wounded student through the Paris sewers. This subterranean escape secures a future for Cosette, allowing her to find a life beyond the reach of the state. Years later, Valjean prepares for his own end. He has ensured Cosette's safety and happiness, yet he remains haunted by the belief that his criminal past will always be a stain on her life. Beside his deathbed, the bishop's silver candlesticks remain. For decades, Valjean kept them as proof that his soul was no longer his own, a constant weight that forced him to keep his promise. As he passes, he is still bathed in the glow of that original mercy. Les Misérables argues that poverty and crime are not inescapable human conditions, but societal choices. The only cure for a broken system is the relentless, defiant investment of human compassion.